This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Wholeness appeals to residents to give info on murder of Jazaria Tyrrell. In expressing deep sadness over Thursday morning's killing of 10-year-old Jazaria Tyrrell, Prime Minister Andrew Holness is pleading with residents of central Kingston to provide investigators with information on her killers. I am appealing to residents to give all information to the security forces so the perpetrators can be brought to justice, Holness wrote on social media. Jazaria, a student of Fleet Street, Kingston, was asleep at home with her relatives about 2:50 a.m. when armed intruders attempted to gain entry to their house whilst firing at the occupants. When the gunfire subsided, it was discovered that Jazaria was shot. She was pronounced dead at hospital. Unfortunately, these incidents are taking place too often, Holness said in reaction to the young girl's killing. We are very concerned about the troubling trend of children being victims and the perpetrators of violence and murder, the Prime Minister continued. My heart goes out to the family during this difficult time. Once again, violence has reared its ugly head and we are left to mourn. I am deeply saddened, he added. Jazaria was among 3 individuals reportedly killed in sections of central Kingston, which is being plagued by gun violence. Among those killed in the area within the last 36 hours is 40-year-old Alton Reed, who was shot dead after gunmen invaded his home on Rosemary Lane about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. Investigators believe his death is linked to an ongoing gang feud in the area. Hours later, police were called to the scene of a murder on Rum Lane, also on Wednesday. In that incident, which occurred about 7:30 p.m., Akeem Cunningham, a 31-year-old shoemaker, was shot dead by gunmen. The police are probing all 3 deadly attacks. Wanted man held, charged with killing ex-girlfriend's sister. The long arm of the law finally caught up with a man who was on the run for more than a year following the killing of his ex-girlfriend's sister. The man, 23-year-old Jaffiel Doman, otherwise called Beamerman, of Barrett Hall, St. James, and the Darling Street, Westmoreland addresses, was nabbed in a police operation in Westmoreland earlier this month. An arrest warrant was executed on him and he has since been charged with murder and illegal possession of a firearm. Doman, who had been on the run since Friday, November 26, 2020, is charged with the killing of Kellyanne McIntosh, a site worker of Barrett Hall, St. James. Police reported that on that day, Doman went looking for his ex-girlfriend, who is also the mother of his child, at McIntosh's house. However, an argument developed and he left. Police said Doman returned later. McIntosh was shot several times. Doman fled when citizens came to the rescue of McIntosh, who later died at hospital. Several operations were conducted for Doman before he was eventually captured. He was charged after an interview in the presence of his attorney. 2 dead, 1 injured in Clarendon crash. 2 men are dead and a 3rd hospitalized after a collision between 2 motorcyclists along the Hayes Main Road in Clarendon this morning. One of the men has been identified as Ryan Magaw, a security guard from Spanish Town in St. Catherine. The other is Delroy Pearson, better known as Matterhorn, a resident of Top Hill in Hayes, Clarendon. According to the police, both motorcyclists were traveling in opposite directions along the Hayes Main Road near Jamaica at about 6:10 a.m. when they collided. Pearson's uncle Anthony King said his nephew left home early this morning to conduct business before he went to work. So by him left out, within an hour time, me get a call, say meet in an accident up here. So all me come see 2 dead bodies on the road. Him and the next man who crashed together, he said. His cousin, who was a passenger on the bike, remains in hospital. We still don't know who wrong. All me I get to understand say is a car man caused the accident, but him no stop, King said. No bail for businessman accused of killing son, returns to court in 2 years. Well-known businessman Delton Knight, who was charged with the shooting death of his son last April, has not been granted bail and will return to court in about 2 years. Attorney at law Peter Champagny, who is representing Knight, told the News that Knight, who was 64 at the time of his arrest, will appear in the circuit court in September 2023. An application for bail will be made pending that date, Champagny revealed. Knight is charged with murder for the death of his 38-year-old son, Ruel, who was shot dead at the family business Knight's Meat and Food Distributors Limited on Gordontown Road, St. Andrew, on Monday, April 12. Police reported that about 9:45 a.m., an argument developed between Knight, who is a licensed firearm holder, and Ruel. During the argument, the police said Ruel was shot. The elder Knight left the scene but was subsequently accosted and questioned in the presence of his attorney and charged. $2 million worth of ganja seized in St. Elizabeth. The police say they have commenced investigations into the seizure of 750 pounds of ganja valued at $2 million and the arrest of one man in Parati, St. Elizabeth on Wednesday, December 29. According to the information from the Black River Police, the Area 3 Narcotics Division led an operation in the community about 4:50 p.m. and during a search of a premises, several knitted bags of compressed ganja were found. One man who was at the property at the time of the seizure was arrested, the police say. He remains in custody as the investigation continues. Gun found under pillow, man charged. One of 3 individuals detained after a gun was found under a pillow in a house has been charged. He has been identified as Sebastian Williams, 21, unemployed from Price Street in Kingston 12, who is charged with illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. The others, including a 17-year-old boy, has been released without charge, the police say. It is reported that the 17-year-old boy was seen acting suspiciously by police patrolling on Augustown Road, St. Andrew. The juvenile reportedly ran into a house when he saw the patrol approaching. He was subsequently accosted and the premises searched. A Glock 17 pistol and ammunition were found under a pillow. The boy, Williams, and another person were subsequently taken into custody. Following investigations, Williams was charged. PAJ saddened by passing of Khadijah Thomas. The executive of the Press Association of Jamaica says it is saddened by the passing of one of its directors, Khadijah Thomas. She died on Christmas Day. Thomas was voted in by her colleagues to serve on the highest decision-making body of the PAJ on February 14. She was asked to offer herself for election based on the leadership skills she had shown in her time as a reporter at CVM TV and her tenure as Director of Communications at the National Parenting Support Commission, said PAJ President George Davis. Davis said that Thomas was dutiful in attending meetings of the PAJ executive, even as her contribution was hampered by her serious health problem, which eventually led to her death. To her enduring credit, she never paraded herself as a victim, nor did she ever invite sympathy for her condition, noted Davis. Khadijah at all times demonstrated a bravery that belied the pain she was experiencing daily and did a great job in giving the impression that her illness was merely a temporary inconvenience. The PAJ will always remember her commitment to service, as evidenced by her decision to continue engaging with the business of the association under circumstances which would have compelled others to relinquish such responsibility, said Davis. We will miss Khadijah Thomas and her quiet strength, he added. Jamaica reports 365 new COVID-19 cases, majority in Kingston and St. Andrew. Jamaica on Thursday reported 365 new cases of COVID-19 and 1 virus-related death. This brings the total number of cases recorded on the island since the start of the pandemic to 93,591 and the death toll to 2,470. Of the newly reported cases, there were 202 females and 163 males with ages ranging from 4 months to 88 years. The cases were recorded as follows: Kingston and St. Andrew 293, St. James 25, St. Catherine 21, Portland 6, Clarendon 5, St. Mary 5, Manchester 4, St. Thomas 3, Westmoreland 2, and St. Elizabeth 1. Meanwhile, the latest victim is a 50-year-old male from Kingston and St. Andrew. The death occurred on December 28. The country also recorded 66 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 65,508. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.